no secret. It's plain to see. I love you, and you love me. It's no secret. You know it's true. You love me. And I love you. The only time we seem to meet is in the middle of the night. Only then can I feel your heartbeat, 'cause something's not right. Together I see you and me, always and all time. But not everyone would agree, 'cause then it's a crime. It's no secret. It's plain to see. Yes, I love you, and you love me. And it's no secret. You know it's true. You love me. Yes, I love you. Each day I think of you, looking for some sign that you feel the same way too. And I know you're mine. We can't use no telephone, but others can hear. And all I get is a dial tone, but the message is clear. It's no secret.
It is cold out here, guys. Welcome to Gardening with Cat and Koi. Once again, we're welcoming you to our segment of Grow Your Own Food, episode 2. We have been absent for quite some time, but we're back and excited to share a lot of new things that we've learned, a lot of new things that we've done, all the experiments. And so, welcome.
Hey,
And I'm
hey,
going to turn it over to our other host, Koi Portier.
hey, everybody. We're glad to be back. We've been missing you all, but like I say, life happens, but we're back. We got some new things we're going to introduce to you. We look forward to next year's show. I mean, we probably, I think we'll be back on here next week as well. But we have this whole series we're doing on Grow Your Own Food, which is very, very, very important right now. I don't know if some of you see what's happening around the world, but it's so important right now that we learn how to grow our own food. And so we're looking forward to hearing some things from you. We're looking forward to hearing things from your sister, your cousin, your next door neighbor. If you got a next door neighbor, we want to hear it all about how you're doing as well. And then you'll hear more about how much I know more than my wife Katrina, because that's just how that goes. And so I look to challenge her more and her knowledge and getting greater than I am, which I must say myself is so hard since I study all the time. So join us pretty soon. You know, we're back. And so, Katrina, tell them about your new job. You got some new stuff going on. Real quick before we get off here, really, we wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas. I almost forgot today is the big day, Christmas. I don't know what y'all got me, but
Yes,
I'm glad
yes,
to have y'all back
yes.
on here.
Wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas. So I have started a new job as an agent at the Dallas Arboretum.
Cool.
Amazing place to go see things that are brought from different cultures, different areas of growing. Come out there, taking pictures, learning the plants. It has been an amazing 3 weeks, I guess. Um,
And you
I
still don't know
advise
what it's
everyone
been
who's
3 weeks.
interested in learning plants, come out and see the Arboretum. It is, I took Koi, I think last Sunday, and the things that he could call out, the trees, the plants, they have what is called, what we love to do is edible landscaping. And so they also included edible landscape there. And you'll go and see what can be added to your garden, and actually see it for yourself. What Coy and I have been talking about and telling people that they should do. Well, the Dallas Arboretum is already doing it. And that
Well,
was
you
something
saying you
that
got it for
amazed
3 weeks, so
amazed
you
us.
should know.
So
You're saying you got it for 3 weeks, so you should know 3 weeks of stuff more than me. So this show is really gonna get challenging. We're really getting ready to get to the next level since you're out there at the Arboretum. I'm telling you, this is gonna be great.
yeah, it does make you study a little bit more since he's been doing all the studying. I've just been kind of looking and learning and reading and learning. It does
Hello,
make you want
Sonia.
to study when you go out there.
Hello, Sonia. Welcome to the show. We just really want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. We're getting ready to get deep into sharing our ideas of growing our own food. We're encouraging everybody else to learn how to grow their own food. And we're going to have a good time with it. We're going to, of course,
Yes,
Katrina are more native plant people. So we're going to be researching into the area, even when you stay, Sonia, to where we can figure out what will grow easily, which is still tasty and it's fun to grow. But we really want to challenge everybody to learn how to grow their own food.
yes,
And it's not all about, like I tell everybody all the time, it's not always about doom and gloom, but you should want to know where your food is coming from, how it's made, and really be able to prepare just in case we have another snowstorm or just in case we have anything happen. You won't be begging for everyone's assistance. You'll be able to do it yourself. What you think, Trina?
right. I think so. As we saw today, we went out to our garden area, and we have a lot of greens and things that we covered them up, and still it was cold enough to cause some minor damage. So for people to actually learn how to grow, what to grow, where to grow, and when to grow, um, is a big help. So even if it's just one thing, pick your favorite vegetable and just try to grow it. um, as you see, going into the different times of climate change, it's harder for farmers to just do what we need to do to supply the world with food. And so just to help yourself, to help your budgeting, um, learn to grow.
And one plant we'll feature, which is slowly becoming my favorite plant, shrub, or however you want to call it, is Turk's cap. So I'm really going to be working on Turk's cap because it is an edible plant. We want to create spots in people's yard. You can grow or Turk's cap almost in any, well, I ain't gonna say any one of the USDA zones, but it works here. So we're going to focus on Turk's cap, which is very edible, from the leaf to the actual flowers. The petals are edible and they're real tasty. So I hopefully next week that will be our plant that we're going to focus on, which is Turk's cap. And Sonia, if you have any suggestions or anything you want to share with the audience or share with us, please let us know. We would love to hear what you're growing and some of your concepts.
Absolutely.
So we would love to invite you to the show. Send us a message and let us know with whether you want to be on. We can feature you next week. You know, I'm with the USDA, and our whole purpose now is just trying to, well, the Farm Service Agency where I'm with. Our whole purpose is now to just encourage people to learn how to grow. Let me see who we got here. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I'm just, you know what? I've never seen this messaging part. We're in Dallas. So we're actually in Dallas, which is Zone 8A. Um, so we could grow things here that gets a little hot, but once again, we're just in that line where we can grow things that get a little colder as well. So where are you, Sonia? Which zone are you in, or do you know your zone?
So it looks like she's in Vancouver, Canada.
Okay. Now I think y'all would be zone. I think the numbers get higher the colder it is, or it's lower. I can't remember. I'm getting old, Sonia. I got to start growing some things to help me with my mind.
Well, maybe we
Uh,
can look up some
All
things in
good.
that area for her and kind of, I know she says she's growing some herbs and some tomatoes. Um,
now, how
that's
are you
amazing.
seeing all
That's
of that?
amazing.
I don't see any of that, but I'm glad
Uh-huh.
Sonia is a grower. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, I grew up in a farm.
Oh, there
Yeah.
she is. She's all right, Sonia. I'm glad you. Now I don't know how you did that either, but glad you are.
I
So you
just
said what, Sonia? I'm sorry.
I grew up in a farm. I'm back in Laos. We used to like, in a third world country, right? We rotate crops, right?
Uh huh.
So that way it's a natural fertilizer in many ways, right?
Right.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so we would have our rice paddies, and then in the fall or winter time, which is a dry season, we would rotate into like vegetables like cucumber, squash, and all of these other ones, right? Lettuce. And so the rotation itself, year over year, it kind of helps with, in terms of like if you look at natural fertilization and stuff like that, right? Versus now we are doing different things. When we're doing rice planting, we like, um, and afterwards when we we turn it to garden in many ways, or farm, vegetable farms. Yeah, I love that. We'd be able to rotate those two, and I have 4 sisters, so there's 5 girls in the family, and so able to do all of that, the chores. We have to like draw the water from the wells and stuff. This is way back when. But now back in Canada, my dad always plants because, of course, limited land, right, in a residential area. And so we do like berries and rhubarbs and, tomatoes and raspberries and all of these other stuff, right? And of course, occasional lettuce, and we try cauliflower and cabbages and stuff like that too. And that seemed to work, but it's not to the place. It doesn't look like what you see in the market, but it's still workable. We like herbs, dill, and different sorts of herbs, cilantros, and all of those things. Those are the staples: onions, tomatoes.
Sure is. So, Sonia, if you were to tell the people, encourage the people about growing their own food, because we like to tell people how easy it is. What is your thoughts on that? Like, you think everybody can learn how to grow their own food?
I think so. Now the process itself it's changed, right? I know. I don't know how you feel about greenhouses now, right? Because not a lot of, like, where we live is quite heavily populated, right? Well, in the city, right? So, but now that I move out of the city, it has a little more space, and I like fruits and vegetables in the spring. Well, our season I think starts in May when we plant, and then it goes on until August, September. That's when we harvest stuff as well, if for that reason, like fruits and vegetables, fruit being apples, pears, and plums and stuff like that, right? So those are the winter, I mean, like colder kind of plants that we're doing. I don't know about Dallas. I know I have a lot of my family are in Houston.
Or in
Um,
Houston.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
they
I
do
don't know
have.
what zone they're in. I know they're in a different zone than us. They do a little bit warmer crops there. Hey, good to see you on here, Fletcher. But yeah, they do their crops a little bit warmer there. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
we no. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I mean, I was looking in Florida as well. Of course, that's more of the tropical kind of almost climate,
Right.
right? And so, of course, looking for a place where I can have my own stuff, right? Growing, perhaps moving from here and go down further and stuff like that. So, and
Well, we're from
I was
Florida,
looking at
so
Spain too.
you look at where?
Spain?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. No, we're
Okay.
So
from
no
Florida, so
agriculture.
we learned how to grow things there as well. I wasn't farming as much. Well, I wasn't farming at all in Florida, but we've gotten a contract offer to go to Florida for a church to help them get their garden started.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah. So what we'll do is we'll study their zone. We'll study their soil samples. Here in Dallas area, most of our soils are alkaline. So I'm not sure if Florida has more acidic soil since they are growing citrus there so easily. Their
Right.
soil profile might be, uh, more of a acidic soil. But those things that we'll learn that will help to increase our knowledge, learning in different areas.
Like, what's
Yeah.
your background and how do you start all of these things, like for yourselves? How do you get involved in all these farming stuff?
Well, honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm a musician. I'm a filmmaker. I was used to playing music and creating movies, but we also have a nonprofit here in Dallas area where we were teaching kids, basically skills, life skills, teaching them performing arts. But what we found out when those kids would leave our program, most of them didn't have any food to eat. When school was out, that was their last meal for the day, Monday through Friday. And in some instances, on Saturday, they wouldn't eat again until Monday morning. So what we did was we changed our focus from arts and sciences to more of feeding the kids. Somehow, the doors were open to a Walmart was closing down. They actually donated their whole garden center to our nonprofit. And from then, we learned out of all those plants, those thousands of plants they gave us, the ones we didn't use for fundraising or we didn't just give away, we was actually encouraged by Texas A&M AgriLife to learn how to grow with them. And from there we planted like 65 fruit trees, and Texas A&M liked the way we planted the trees. They actually sent us to Master Gardener School, so we became certified Master Gardeners. And from there, our knowledge and our love for gardening just ran.
Yeah.
And then as a registered farmer to USDA, I put my name in the hat and was voted in for the USDA's county committee for urban agriculture. And from there, I'm just a fanatic now. This is what I go to bed listening to, and get to meet great people like yourself all the way from Canada and Fletcher from coming on. This is
Yeah.
why I'm so excited, and I didn't take all the time. Trina, you can tell her what you got going on.
Oh, well, for me, I used to do small things with my grandmother in our front yard in a small patch of her property. And then my dad's grandfather had a farm. And so I would help out there with the pigs and the goats and horses and all the things that he had. And I always said that when I got my own property, I wanted the same thing. I wanted to grow. I wanted to learn, and have just a nice farm for my family. Never thinking that we come into doing this. I always told Coy that when we got a piece of property, I was going to take a piece of it and turn it into a garden, and he was like, "You just have that." But then, like he said, Walmart happened, and it really changed the way he thought about farming and gardening, to where he surpassed me and with excitement. But together we actually do this, and it's fun, and it's a lot of hard work, but just to watch things grow and to watch us grow
Nice.
in it, it's just amazing.
Yeah,
It
I
also
find.
helped me. It also helped me with my ability to have patience, because I technically was a person who didn't like waiting. And Fletcher, if you want to join us, and Sonya too, just let us know. I was a person who didn't have impatience. So if you'd have told me a couple of years ago that I would have to wait 3 or 4 months to see any results from something, I'd have told you you can have that. So for now, for me to plant seeds and know that I've got 90 days or sometimes 180 days to see anything, I look forward to the process now more than I do.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
need.
love. Yeah,
I'm
thank
sorry,
you,
go ahead.
Fletcher. Nice to meet. No, I love the process. Like, you know what you're saying, Katrina. I totally understand the growing part and loving seeing things grow. And now I do more of business development on my career. So because I love, it's, in this case, it's more of that kind of growth. But I still love, like, if I buy my next property, it's probably gonna have more yard, more, kind of land to be able to have those kind of organic gardens where you right, you have to control what you eat. And now we don't have like a lot of the soil content where minerals and stuff and all of these things are not there as much either, right? What's been done into it now, right? And so that is really something that I'm looking to get involved with, in that sense. And I was involved recently in the Safe Soil project, which is done by Sad Guru, right? And he's of course talking about all of those farms and how the land is becoming a desert and stuff like that. So that's the danger of what modern farming now has done. So we want to be able to kind of reverse the soil, uh, you know, whatever the things that are needed to restore some of the organic content back into the soil.
Fletcher, I think your mic is muted, but yes, you're right, Sonya. That's why I'm looking more into restorative agriculture. I'm actually looking for property to kind of have a food forest and work on that. So you're saying some of the same things we're saying here. Like-minded people always connect some way. Uh, but
Totally true. I am appreciating that. But I saw your title. I haven't seen your show before. I just happened to pop in earlier for the Christmas one, with Mary Lee. And then, of course, later on, I kind of pop in again and saw you guys on. That's great to have this kind of discussion, because not a lot of people are involved in the farming process. They only know how to eat, and from the stores to really respect the earth and the soil and all of these things, which is what we need also, right? You have to become more conscious of what you take into your body as well. So it's an overall health kind of, also mental thing is also tied to what we eat. So it's very important for us to be able to be conscious of this, and take some actions for awareness, right?
so true. Hey, Fletcher, I see you on. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you. I was just listening to you. I've been on here before. I'm the guy that's vegetarian that spoke with you about getting the
That's
food.
right. That's right.
Yeah, I was
How's
just
your health
listening to you.
going? I mean, I know you were saying some things last time, but maybe um, you didn't mention something about diabetes. Something you said last time.
Well, I don't have any health issues. I just went vegetarian, just to be doing it really, and I liked it.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
and my thing is that I want to know, is there a real difference in the food? And people tell me all the time there's a real difference in grown food and not grown food. I had really hadn't been able to experience that, because most of my food I go to the store and get. For the most part, the only thing I think I had really tasted that wasn't was an apple. But other than that,
Well,
really
one thing I could say, Fletcher, is in the distribution process of that apple you ate, 9 times out of 10, they had to spread with something for it to last from, what city are you in?
I'm in Virginia.
I'm sorry?
I'm in Virginia.
So if those apples weren't made in Virginia, to get them apples from probably California or Florida, there had to be something sprayed on it. There had to be some kind of pesticide. There had to been some way for it to make it from point A to, by the time it hit you in the store, by the time your hands got on it, you don't know how many places it has traveled. You don't really have the information for it. Our thing is, and some people notice the difference of taste because sometimes when you pull something directly from the ground and you eat it, all the nutritional value is still there. So straight from the root, or when they say farm to table, it means it came directly from there and into your body, to your mouth. And so that gives you an opportunity to get the real flavor. Now, you can imagine you separate something from its roots and it makes it from Florida to you, probably 2 weeks. You can kind of imagine all the nutritious value, all of the life that was in that plant was gone probably a week ago. And that's why you'll understand the difference between the taste, but more valuable, if I could say that. It's kind of cold, so I'm shaking out here. But more value you get is the nutritious value, what the food was designed for in the first place. We're in America, a lot of things we get caught up in on taste. But in some places, they need that nutrition. They need that to help their bodies to grow. And so a lot of that you'll miss because of the fact that you don't know where that is. You don't know who handled that. What they're trying to do on the web now, where they're using stuff like AWS and where they're trying to track exactly where that food came from. So you'll know, like sometimes they'll say apple from Montana. I'm just throw a thing out there. Well, the thing might have been made in Canada, let's just say. But you won't know the facts, so you don't really know what you're eating. So a little bit more than just the taste. It's about knowing exactly what you're putting in your temple, your body, because you know more facts about it, if that makes sense. I know I said a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. And when you speak of food, you also speak of herbs too, right? When you grow your herbs also, as they're better for you when you grow herbs.
I couldn't really hear. I'm sorry. I think Trina is walking in leaves. Now say again. I'm sorry.
I said the herbs that you grow as well as food is also have a lot of nutrients in it from the ground than it is from the store.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we grow mint, we grow cilantro. A lot of the herbs that we do grow, once again, we know exactly when it was cut. We know, from where it was cut, and I know what it took to grow mine. Some people say they use blood meal. People may say they use certain type of fertilizers, but unless I'm there to actually see it, sometimes things are over fertilized. Like Sonia was saying earlier, there's ways when you rotate crops or when you use earthworms, when you use certain things, they're fertilized naturally. You don't have to add things. A lot of times, if you just use compost, if your soil profile's messed up because over damaged, when people use tillers, a lot of times tillers takes the nutrients out of the soil. So it takes things like compost to just fix the soil. And you'll have perfectly grown things at its time. There's specific times when it needs to grow. There's specific places. You need to check the light. There's a lot of things that we look to bring forth on this podcast that will create nice, healthy food without you having to poison it with pesticides, insecticides, fungicides, all that type of stuff.
Okay, so if I wanted to buy some food from you, you would give me a food facts, I guess you would say, and you would tell me exactly what was in the food and everything if I was to buy any products from you.
Yeah, specifically, I'll tell you more the date and the time I cut it. As far as what's in it, I don't Maybe Trina will get a little bit more than that because she is a chef. For me, I'll give you more specifics of when it was cut, specifically what I used on it, and things like that.
So if you was to make me a protein supplement, could you do it? Could you make me a protein supplement that would give me the 9 nutrients that I need as vegetarian? Because I think it's like 9 or 7 nutrients that you need that I can't get from basic foods. So if I was to put faith in you, could you actually give me that and sell me the product and tell me what it does?
Yes, it would take me research. So if you're saying specifically I need protein or I need let's just say calcium, zinc, let's just throw out things like that, just the minerals. I could say, yes, you can take broccoli, it will give you this. Or I could take you could take ginger root, which will give you this. Yes, if I had those things to grow. But with me being a person of character and honor, what I would tell you is that even if I did do that, if you're in where you are now and I'm in Dallas, by the time the produce I made for you got to you, unless I froze it or processed it some type of way, which I'm not a complete fan of, most of that value will not be there by the time you get there. That's why it's so important for you to find local farmers, and that's what we're really going to push is local distribution. So you could call me if you were close and say, Coy, this is what I need. I could say, hey, we already have this, or we're growing this at this time. I'll have that. Come on down. It'll take you a 20-minute drive versus me saying, I'm going to send you a package, which will probably be there in 2 days. Even on ice, by the time you throw it out, you'll lost a lot of the value. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, it makes
But
sense.
yeah,
So,
so I could do that, but I personally wouldn't want to just sell you something and saying it has that value when I know it won't.
okay. Now, when you said value, how much of a value will it go down? Because people, I mean, I think product does that all the time, right? That we get all the time is like that. So, how far down in the value do it go down? Far as that?
We honestly don't know. All I can say is like, um, let's just give it a car battery. As long as the alternator's on that battery, it's going to continue to charge. Now, when you separate that alternator from the battery, it may still have some charge, but eventually, a day or so, according to what you're using, that car battery is going to go down. I know that's a way out there type of example, but it's the same concept. It may not lose. Let's just give it a value. Uh, say your calciums, say your any of the proteins or any of the elements. Let's just say once I take it from the roots where it gets all of its nutrients from, once I separate from that roots, immediately you start losing value because it's separated from its connection. It's separated from that umbilical cord, if I could say that. So yeah, I don't think anybody can truly say how much value it loses, but guarantee you're paying me for lettuce by the picture. By the time it gets to you, it's not the picture. It's actually the loss so much of what it's going to take in your body. Now it may taste good, but I guarantee you, if you was 2 feet of me, 2 feet away from me, and I handed it to you over the counter, and you made it home and ate it, then I guarantee you it's a whole different other taste that you'll be able to notice. So that's just how important it is because, like, once again, we here are so spoiled, and thank God for it, that we're able to be spoiled. But that also has given us a false impression of how our food's supposed to taste. We can go to McDonald's and they pull it out of the refrigerator overnight. We honestly don't know how that lettuce was supposed to taste because we're tasting lettuce which probably been in that refrigerator for a week or two. Does it have nutritious value? Maybe. Does it have what it had 2 weeks before when they harvested? No, there's no way in the world. And I can stand firm on that to any distributor or producer who tries to come differently and say that. I can stand firm on science-based saying that's impossible.
Okay, and let me just ask you one other thing, because Now you said process. When you say you can process it, you mean make it into a powder form, or what? What is you consider process? You say you can do, but you're not a fan of it.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about me personally, but what I'm saying is when say if you have anything like jar, if you want to can something. So say if I pulled off my tomatoes and I can't sell it to you today, and so I can it. That means I processed it. That's what I mean to you. And I want to sell my produce fresh to the consumers. And thank you for the brother that just came on. I think it's Seb. I want to sell you my produce fresh. Now, in order for me to get it from Dallas to you, I would have to do something I would want to do. Is I would can it, jar it. You know, the same thing. It's the terminology of canning it. Now, if I'm we're in this food desert or food apartheid, whatever the terminology people want to use, and I needed to save it, of course, I'm not going to let it waste. I'm not going to let it waste. I'm going to process it. But if it was up to me, I want to sell to my, and I don't call people customers. I call people partners. I want to sell to my partners fresh food right off the vine. So for Katrina and I, most of the time, if we're going to give you something, we had just pulled it. So if I know I can't get it to you until next week, you're busy, I'll leave it on there. I'll leave the greens on there, and I won't, Katrina won't, because she's really good at harvesting. I won't harvest that crop until I know I'm going to see you, because I want you to get fresh
Right.
produce, if that makes sense.
What are
And
you
the
guys
longer
growing
that,
right? I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm sorry,
sorry.
What are you guys growing right now?
we have collards, we have giant mustards, we have
Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts.
Cool.
we were doing a test with aquaponics. We were still growing tomatoes. Now somehow our greenhouse, I'm not going to say it lost power, but then it's bad weather we've had. It pretty much froze everything in there, and the miracle of life happened. It froze our aquaponic tanks, our 200-gallon aquaponics tank, and somehow the thawed out, the fish are still alive. And our 50-gallon aquaponic tank, all the fish were frozen there this morning. And Katrina decided to put some water in there, and they're swimming around. We only lost 2 fish out of almost 20 something fish. We only lost 2.
Right.
But we are growing some tomatoes, some still warm weather crops as a test inside the greenhouse. We're using koi and goldfish for now for aquaponics, but our desired method will be to get the legal tilapia. When I say legal, because Texas only allow you to do certain type of tilapia here. So we'll be doing that so we can teach people, and that's where our nonprofit is. We teach people how to grow their own food. So we'll be able to teach people the concept of harvesting fish as well.
Yeah. I've seen
And
some
speaking
really
of,
creative farming lately, like especially for like condos and stuff like that. You know how they had those little pods that you can do with, because a lot of us not necessarily have land or any of those. So I've been watching and how they can have that kind of like my friend does the lettuce thing like on the side of the wall, which is kind of cool. And I was like, oh, how does it grow like that? But it's like a ladder, right? So I thought that was pretty creative, and they have like use the organic soil and all of these things, but it's done in such a way that it's not necessarily using the land per se, because you don't have a lot of spot, right? Some places, right? If you live in the city. And so I thought, that's one of the decorating piece. I'm like, oh, lettuce and organic food, right? So, so I thought that was
Yeah,
pretty.
what we did was I had a fish tank that had a crack at the bottom. So what I did was, instead of throwing it away, I put a bunch of soil in there. While we were getting the soil prepared, we found big earthworms. So we took those earthworms, we put it in that fish tank with the soil, and we turned that into a little small, I would say, ecosystem. We turned that into a small planter. And so now the earthworms are in there. creating uh, nice worm castings. The stuff that grows out of that fish tank with that soil is unbelievable. The celery that came out was just so huge, and all that was taking something that you were going to throw away that is food safe, and make a bed out of it or make a planter out of it, and we could eat if we chose to eat directly from that fish tank.
Yeah.
Seb TMG, do you have anything? You're welcome to come up. Fletcher's is on here with us. Sonia's on here with us. You're welcome to come up as well. Fletcher, did you have any, other questions? Like, what my real goal, Fresh Fletcher, and I'm glad you came back on, would be to teach you how to be able to take what you have, whether you have a mansion or whether you have a 1,000 square foot apartment, and be able to grow there. So
Right.
you'll know exactly for sure to the T what you need to grow at what time and the value of the food that you're growing. That would be my plan for you, is to make sure that you become. It took us a year to become master gardeners. You see, it didn't take long, and it won't take long for you. We had to go through a process of structure of a class, but for people who really want to grow, I can promise you, just as I teach people how to play the piano, you can do it as fast as you want to learn.
Right.
That sounds good to me, man. I'll try to come in as many times as I can and get as much knowledge as I can. If you wanted to, we'll reach out to each other on social media, some form, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is that you like. If it's Instagram, you can put Mr. 2 Extra. That's with the number 2, DA Entertainer. That is my Instagram name.
Is there a way you put that in the message on here? Because I'm out in the park. Is there a way you can, Trina, can you write that down on something, please, so we can definitely connect?
I don't think there's any way you can do a message on here yet. They might do that later, but on here, there's no
I think on the Q&A we can write.
Can you say it again, Fletcher, so she can write that down for me, please?
It's Mr. 2 Extras, MAR, the number 2, the word extra, DA Entertainer.
Okay. Yeah.
Sonia, please make sure we have your information as well.
Yeah. If she can just jot it out on here, we can always play it back and listen to the recording.
Oh, that's true. I'm old. Come on, Trina.
Okay.
You got to remind the old guy. You got to remind the old guy.
I just
So I
put
can
it
write it
down.
in
That's my
Instagram.
Instagram tag.
Oh, great.
So if
Okay.
you, Fletcher, if you tap on the react button and there's a add message on there, and that's how you communicate with them in the message. If you're on your cell phone, right?
Huh.
Yeah, the react button.
Yeah.
Then it says add a message. That one, yeah.
Pick anything by accident. I see the react button on here,
You click on
but
that
I'm not
react
seeing
button.
where you can type.
Yeah. Well, add message, when you click on the react tab, then there is all these emojis, and then below it there's an add message on there, so that way you'll be able to add whatever it is that you want there, and questions.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never knew
I
that was
see the
there.
emojis. I don't see the ad
Yeah,
for
it's
some
very
reason.
hidden. It's very hidden. It's
Maybe
once you do
because
the
you're on
emojis
the
at the
show
bottom.
itself, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it's just not for people who are not hosting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because once you hit the emojis, you see the word that says add a message. I
Yeah,
never noticed that before. So I did add it to it. It's on the back channel there, the name. I did add
Yeah,
it.
everybody can see that. You'll get a transcript out of that as well as the host, right? So that's what I just discovered, how we can communicate with each other, right?
Well,
And
we're
during
gonna be in a different situation next week. So we're gonna try to come from the Arboretum in Dallas, so you'll be able to see the back area. So hopefully you all are available next Sunday as well. We're gonna go ahead and close down now, But we thank you all. You don't understand how excited to have every last one of you on here. And if you could come back next week, we would love to hear from you. I think it's Seep or TMG. We would love
Boy,
to hear from you.
boy.
Yay.
So Seb is saying that he has a living room garden.
Uh-oh.
Um,
Come on, Seb. You
yes,
got to come back next week.
we only have two. We only are able to bring on two people at a time. So he's not able to come on and show the picture, but maybe we can have him come on next Sunday and be our featured guest to show his garden.
Please do. If you could do that, that would be so awesome.
You can have 4 people on the video. You can have up to 12. I mean, 8 more
8
your
more.
on the
Okay.
audio. Yeah.
Well, that means y'all all have to. Well, you just said something. That means y'all all have to come back next week. But we're gonna start back next week, and we thank y'all for joining us on Gardening with Cat and Coy. Once again, we're 2 certified Texas Master Gardeners here, and we're certified native plants. And so we're gonna give all of our knowledge that we have. We want to share with everybody. And anytime I get news from different other agencies, I'll make sure you have that as well. So we really appreciate you all. We're gonna catch you next week. So next Sunday, the same time, 3:30 Central Time, we're gonna be ready. Okay. All right, y'all. We'll see you
Thank you. I'll see you later.
next
Bye.
week. Thank you.
Meet you. Bye.
Bye bye.